Welcome to Greetings from Vernon. I'm your host, Dan Cleary. As you can tell, we're coming to you from the Tracks Deli, located on Vernon Crossing Road, right by the flats, as everyone in Vernon knows. It just reopened about a month ago. It used to be placed by the Tracks, but the new owners, the Mitchells and the Jennekes, have done a great job putting this together. We'll speak with Peggy Mitchell later on about the deli and how they reopened it. And they got great food here, Taylor ham, egg, and cheese, everything you want. It's a great place, and as we said, we'll talk to Peggy later on. First off on tonight's show, Vernon Township School District reopened its Hall of Fame, which is a great idea. I love that. And they honored the newest member to go into the Vernon Township School District Hall of Fame, former Superintendent and Business Administrator, Tony Masserino, and we talked to Tony about that great honor.
I was very delighted, first of all, to learn that the school district, the board, and the administration was re-implementing the program and starting it up again. That was just a great surprise and a very positive thing. And then to hear about a month later that a selection committee had nominated myself was just unbelievable. I'm very, very humbled, as I mentioned to the board and the administration that evening of the induction. I'm just humbled and proud to be with so many great people before my induction. It's just a true honor. And I want to also say that the recognition that the board and the district bestowed on me really is shared and belongs to a most incredible faculty and staff, central office staff, administration, and the students and parents that I worked with over those many years. Everything as far as accomplishments really takes a whole team to bring about those goals and objectives, and we really could not have done the things that were accomplished during those years without those very people. I mean, the support staff is like second to none throughout the district, and of course the central office support staff is, in my opinion, is the heartbeat. Along with the administration, it's the heartbeat of the district. So I really share this recognition and appreciate it most humbly.
Now, when you came along to Vernon, it was at a time when Vernon was bursting at the seams. You came in first as a business administrator. George Iannacone, Dr. Iannacone was the superintendent. Rudy Perella was at the high school. There was a real good core of administrators, and you were part of that and kind of shepherded the Vernon through a very crazy time of change. Just talk about coming to Vernon and then just watching its growth.
Yeah. Watching its growth was unbelievable. In fact, our first task when I joined the team in the business office was to move from the H&H Auto Parts, that was the board office, and move and renovate the current Board of Education building. It was used by the municipality for many, many years, so that was my first task. And from then on, it was just bricks and mortar, finding where to put programs, children, faculty, and staff. And let me tell you, as far as cooperation and going above and beyond, even to this day, the faculty and staff just exceeds what's expected of them, and including the administrators of those schools, because you had to be so flexible, and you still have to be flexible to this day. But when you're talking about finding nooks and crannies and suitable and healthy and safe locations for students and programs, that takes a lot of sacrifice above and beyond many people. And we had to purchase land, look at land, have referendum, and thanks to the community, the district is where it is today. Now they're facing kind of the other end of things, but I think it'll all turn out. It's still a lighthouse district. The whole county, in my opinion, is just has wonderful schools, and Vernon's right in there, and they'll get through the lack of enrollment or the lowering enrollment at this time.
Now, you touched upon it. When you were a superintendent, it was the other way around, and you did some realignments. I know back then a lot of people were clamoring for a second high school in town, and you came up with a great realignment plan to get everyone, there wasn't geography anymore, it was by grades. Just talk about how it just happened so fast that you guys had to be on your toes constantly.
Yeah, it happened so quickly. It was overtime, but it happened consistently. It was speedy, but the growth happened very, very consistently over the years. We had great demographers that were right on target as far as telling us where enrollment was going, what the projections were meant to be, and you had to plan for that. Sometimes we were a little behind the curve, and we had to step to it rather quickly, and that's when we came up with the previous realignment in order to come up with more classrooms without building, which I'm so grateful as a prior administrator and also now as a community member that we did not go that extra mile and build that extra school, because the way things are turning now, it just would not have worked out.
Now, you decided to retire from the school district, but as in New Jersey, there's a shortage of superintendents, so you were able to be an interim superintendent at several places, Sussex Tech, Andover. Just talk about your time there and what you used from your experience from Vernon to help you there.
It was thanks to my experience and all the help that I received in Vernon Township, it was a very little to no transition when I went to Sussex Tech. I was the principal and the superintendent, and as well as that school has a tremendous supportive staff, faculty and staff, and administrative team. It was very, very well organized. The same is true for Andover. There was little to no transition because both school districts were superbly run and organized, and with my background, thanks to many people that assisted me, the both districts are doing great today as well.
I know it'd be tough, but is there any one special memory of your time here in Vernon?
Oh, gee. I guess the one memory that I hold on the most, I have to say two. Visiting classrooms and spending time with faculty and students, just to encourage, not necessarily at all to observe in an official sense, but just to encourage and to be supportive, because that's what I think one of the roles of an administrator is, to be there in that sense. And the second thing is to attend student functions. There again, to support coaches, the choral, whether it's drama, to support the students and also the adults that are involved in those things, and also for parent presence. Those are the things that I hold on most. I don't hold on to the reports, the work, as my latter part of my career, the emailing and all that stuff, because that's going to be about your most important impact, I feel, is when you're out and about and with people, whether it be parents, students, teachers, other administrators, at other functions, and in the community. I had also the great pleasure of living in the community to this day with my wife and 4 children, all products of the school system. So I think that all helped, and the memory is really people, from kids on up.
Chuck, your thoughts on Tony Masserino going into the Hall of Fame, and also that you guys have started the Hall of Fame again?
So, Dan, what we've done is we've created the Hall of Fame again. Now, when Mr. Masserino was here, he started the Hall of Fame, and for 16 years we had a Hall of Fame, and we honored people like the Maskers, we honored people like Gary Sparta, all the people that you've interviewed, you've talked to. And the idea was that there is a history here in Vernon that we cherished. For 10 years now, we have not had a Hall of Fame, and we thought it was time to bring it back. So we brought it back, and we set up a committee, and we had teachers on the committee, we had old administrators on the committee, we had present administrators on the committee, and we decided as a committee to take recommendations. And we received some recommendations from the community, and we decided to look at those recommendations, and we voted. And the first person that we chose was a natural, was Mr. Tony Masserino. So it was my honor to nominate him, but also to give him that award at a Board of Ed meeting. And we're going to start the Hall of Fame again. So we've ordered new plaques, and I wanted to show you those plaques. We've ordered new plaques for all of our members. And what we're going to do is we're going to place these in a very obvious spot at the high school, in which people can then look and see at all of our great teachers and past administrators. So it was a great evening. When we did this, Tony was there with his entire family, which took up the whole front row. It was great. And we had teachers there from the past. We had nominees from the past, award winners from the past. Mr. Sparta was there. We talked about some of the great people. But just talking about our history was important. As someone who's been here for a long time, talking about our history, relating to folks from the past and the present, it was a very important evening.
Now, Chuck, you came on as a young teacher many moons ago, right? And Tony Masserino was the business administrator. Yes. Then he became the super. You followed along his career. Right. Just talk about working for him and kind of following in his shoes now that you're in the central office.
Sure. when I first started in '83, of course, Tony was in another role, and then when Tony became superintendent, we were all delighted, and it was great working for him. And we've always had a wonderful relationship due to all the great things that he did for the district. And to follow in those shoes is very difficult. So we've done our best at the central office to make sure that we have new programs, new ideas for our students, and make sure that we follow in the tradition of Mr. Masserino, who is one of our stars.
Tony's been a big part of this community for a long time. Even when I was in high school, all the way back in the dark ages, Tony was the business administrator, did a great job as superintendent. Can't think of a better candidate to restart the Hall of Fame than Tony Masserino. And speaking of education, we want to thank the Vernon Township Education Association, the local teachers union, big sponsors here on Greetings from Vernon. Want to thank them for all their support as they get ready for another great school year coming up. They'll be here before you know it in September. So a big shout out to the VTEA. We'll have more here on Greetings from Vernon right after these messages. United Water is now Suez, safe, clean water for the communities they serve. United Water is now Suez, safe, clean water for the communities they serve. Welcome back to Greetings from Vernon. I'm your host, Dan Cleary. We're coming to you from the Tracks Deli. Everyone knows where it is. Used to be Placed by the Tracks, a long-time staple in the community. And the Mitchell and Janicki family have reopened it. Great food. You got to stop on by, folks. And we're going to talk to Peggy Mitchell in a bit. But right now, we have a story on a new business in town. And it's pretty interesting. It's those escape rooms. I'm sure you heard about them or read about them. The Solvent escape rooms are located in Vernon, right off 515. In that D&S mall, and we went over there to check it out.
Solvent Escape Rooms is, we are an independent, although escape rooms can be franchises, we are our own. So it's, escape rooms are just the fun new trend. You don't want to go bowling anymore, you don't want to go to the movies anymore. This is the exciting thing to do these days. It's fun, it's interactive, exciting, it gets the heart pumping, you know, and we're really excited to actually bring this to Vernon. So.
Now just take us through, you bring groups in and you put them in the room and they have to solve clues to get out of the room. Just take us through what a general, if one group goes in, how long it takes and what they need to do.
So what we do is, and for escape rooms, you know, if you can think it, you can theme it. And that's what we do. We have a couple of concepts here, and we hide all different types of puzzles and riddles and all different types of things to do. And what we do is we give you a mission, and you have 60 minutes to complete that mission.
And how great is it for not only family bonding, but say like a Little League team or a high school team, it's great for team bonding, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. Escape rooms are absolutely perfect from anybody from 9 to 90. Whether it's for birthday parties, just a night out. We've already had corporate team building events here as well. Or just you know, let's hang out. That's it.
Now, for people that are not familiar, they might be saying, okay, what if I can't figure it out? Do they let me out of the room? Obviously you do, but just talk about that.
Well, what's great about at least our facility here is we want our customers to have a good time. That's our first and foremost, most important thing. And we can see, as game masters, we can see and hear everything that goes on in the room. So if our customers are stumped or they don't really know what's going on or what they should be doing next, we provide hints and we lead them in the right direction. So we always try and make sure that they are able to, at the very least, complete at least 90% of the room before they leave.
And generally, how long does it take? What's the quickest someone's got out? And what's the latest you say, okay, they're not getting it, we're going to let you free?
Well, we give you 16 minutes to complete the mission, okay? So you have the typical 1 hour to complete it from start to finish. If you don't finish it, if we have extra time, we'll give you that extra time. You know, we want you to have fun. We want you to complete it. Actually, it's very interesting because we did have a couple that came and they did one of our experiences, and they are enthusiasts, though. They've done dozens and dozens of escape rooms, and they currently hold the record for the quickest in both our concepts, believe it or not. So our opposing forces Ivory Room, they completed it with 18 minutes and something seconds left on the clock. And then our redemption room, which is a bit harder, very, very different. And they actually completed it, what I want to say, probably about 13 minutes left on the clock. So very exciting for that couple.
Now, how did you guys get into this, and how did you find Vernon?
So a couple of years back, we were on vacation in Orlando, and it was a rainy day. We wanted something different to do, and my husband found an escape room in Orlando. We went. It was myself, my husband, and my two boys, which were 9.5 and 11 at the time. And we did not escape, but we had the absolute best time. And the next day, we did another one. And we've been hooked ever since.
And how'd you find this location in Vernon?
So we did our research. We wanted to see if we can pull in the visitors that come into this area throughout the year, because it is, it's supposed to be the four-season, area, and it draws in a lot of people. We figured there wasn't any escape rooms anywhere near here, so we figured it would be the perfect place.
Now, how can people find you online or call you if they want to book a party?
They can give me a call at 973-737-9034. I'm here all the time. I'll book it on over the phone for you, or you can go to visit our website if you want to check out our both our themes. It'll give you what they are, and you can book online as well at solventescaperooms.com.
What a great concept. I'm glad they didn't put me in the room. I think I would have been stuck in there and I wouldn't be able to come out and do my job. Maybe people would be happy about that. But what a great job. Stop by, check out their website, and it's a fun thing to do with a family or a group. As we go into break, again, want to thank the Vernon Township Education Association, the local teachers union for sponsoring Greetings from Vernon. We really appreciate it. They came on board in the wintertime, and they believe in the positive stories we do on this show. We'll have more from Greetings from Vernon right after these messages. United Water is now Suez, safe, clean water for the communities they serve. United Water is now Suez, safe, clean water for the communities they serve. Welcome back to Greetings from Vernon. I'm your host, Dan Cleary. As we said, all episode long, coming to you from the Tracks Deli, just reopened. Well, we spoke with Peggy Mitchell about what they did to get this going, and they did it in pretty fast time. Folks, again, you got to check it out. Let's hear what Peggy had to say about the Tracks Deli.
We're located on Vernon Crossings Road, right across from the flats, as Vernon people would know it. And we opened at the end of May, Memorial Day, in fact. And it's been a little bit over 5 weeks, and we couldn't be happier at our new location and serving the Vernon people.
Now, this place by the tracks prior to this was well known throughout the community. Fortunately, it closed down. What made you guys say, hey, let's open this up again? Because everyone knows this spot.
It's definitely hard, Dan. My husband and his partner, you couldn't get two bigger Vernon supporters, and we've been part of this community. I work in the community. I'm raising my children in the community, and it's just heart, all heart. I know how people felt when it was closed down for a little while, and it's just a staple of Vernon, and it's been part of people's childhood. And when we first said we were going to open it, I was receiving all kinds of messages. Oh, thank you so much. We moved away, but when we're coming back up, we're going to visit you firsthand. So.
How important is it for the community to get this back open? New businesses in town. Obviously, everyone wants everything to thrive, but getting this back open is a pretty big thing for you guys.
It is, and I can't say enough how much my husband and his partner love Vernon. Kevin was not born here, but he moved up here in first grade. Scott is a relocation, and he loves it just as much as Kevin. And we love this town. And the more businesses and the more positive information we can get out there about new businesses and building up the town, it's just fantastic.
Now, in its first incarnation, it's Place by the Tracks, known for its big sandwiches. People love coming here to get their coffee. Tell us what you have to offer here now as called the Tracks.
Oh, Taylor ham, egg, and cheese. Come on. It's the biggest, the best. It's made with love, as the chefs would say. The kids come in, adults come in, children come in. It's the Taylor ham and egg and cheese in the morning. But also all day long, sandwiches are fantastic. My husband and his partner want you to come in, get the same medium-sized sandwich every day. Know what you're getting, fresh meat, delicious, homemade salads, fantastic food.
And just talk about the location. I mean, everyone knows where this place is.
Oh, yeah, the location is fantastic. It's right by the Board of Ed. It's by all the schools, by Maple Grange, by the government offices, the police stations. It's fantastic. The traffic is nonstop on this road. This is really an area that does need to be built up, and I'm glad we're part of it to help build it up.
Now, if people want to go online and see what's going on with the Tracks Deli, the daily specials, what you have to offer, how can they find you guys?
Right now, because we're so new, it almost feels like we've been in business for so long because of the history behind the building, but we've only been open 5 weeks. So right now, the best place is on Facebook, the Tracks Facebook page. We're on Google, and as soon as you Google us, it'll come up. And I'm working on a web page right now, and Instagram and Twitter, and we'll all be up and running on all of that by the end of the summer.
Peggy, around the deli here, you have a lot of memorabilia from Vernon Township High School sports. How important is that?
That's super important to us and to the community. When we first started opening, everyone thought that we might have the train theme. But because we're such Vernonites, we said, oh, let's really build it up with the Vernon memorabilia. Like I said, Kevin went to high school here, and, it's so important to us. So we reached out. Bill Foley brought us all great old-time equipment, and we even have the Viking head over there, as you're seeing, some old plaques up there. And in fact, people are walking in loving looking at their pictures because they may be stuck in a closet somewhere, and when they walk in here, one woman actually said, "Oh my, that's me," and a grandfather came and he's like, "That's my daughter." It was really great to see, and we're gonna fill it. We're hopefully going to fill it, and if anyone wants to donate any of their old memorabilia, we'll be happy to take it, because we'll even rotate it out and put it back in, and it'd be great to see.
Peggy, just talk about the restoration, what you guys did here.
Oh, Danny, I mean, you remember what it looks like. It was very charming, but very, very dark, and Scott here and his partner, they tore it apart, spent 24 hours a day almost here, every day, the entire winter, blood, sweat, and tears, and mostly did all the work themselves. And they have a lot of people in the community to thank, and we have a picture up there and a picture frame, some names, and to thank everyone in the community that helped.
Here with Mayor Harry Shoreway. Harry, your thoughts on another business reopening here in town, one that has a great long history.
I'm just so excited with the opening. We have more small businesses coming into town, like the Daily Bean, Vernon Physical Therapy, and the Tracks is a longtime favorite of everybody in Vernon. The Taylor ham, egg, and cheese in the morning, the coffees. It's right across the street from Veterans Memorial Park. It's also slated to be on the route of the Greenway and the bike paths we want to build. But they're invested in the community. You see small businesses really open up a lot. And it's nothing against the resorts, but we find the people with the small businesses, they're invested in the community. They live here, they coach here, they teach here. We know their kids. I've had the opportunity of coaching a lot of their kids. And it's just a really exciting time for Vernon, because I think in the last 12 months, we've had almost 9 new small businesses opening up. So we have turned a corner in Vernon, and we're going to just keep continuing doing this.
Well, I was in there before, folks, getting hungry, looking at the mouth-watering salads and everything they got in there, breakfast sandwiches. It's so great for a long-time staple of Vernon to be reopened. United Water is now Suez, safe, clean water for the communities they serve. United Water is now Suez, safe, clean water for the communities they serve. Welcome back to Greens for Vernon. I'm your host, Dan Cleary. Now it's time for our monthly tip from the Vernon Township Police Department.
Hello again. This is Chief Randy Mills of the Vernon Township Police Department, here courtesy of Muggs Media, to talk about another important topic this month. This month I wanted to go over New Jersey's distracted driving law and maybe try to clarify some things and point out some things people might not have realized. First of all, the distracted driving law covers more than just texting while you're on the phone. It can include things like actually making phone calls, just looking to see who called, other things like eating, grooming, and things that people otherwise wouldn't think were included in the distracted driving law. Things like programming a GPS while you're driving. These are all included. What's important to remember is even something as simple as glancing at a phone to see who called or who texted is something that takes your eyes off the road for critical seconds that can lead to an accident which can unfortunately lead to injuries. One of the things we see all the time is somebody will get pulled over and they'll very commonly say, well, I was only holding my phone for a second. I just needed to see if my son was calling. I needed to see if it was my parent calling. But those are not legitimate excuses for taking your eyes off the road. If somebody's got a device, it needs to be hands-free. And hands-free means basically that you can activate or deactivate what you're doing with pretty much one touch. So if you've got a car set up with a sync system or a RAM Uconnect or something like that, if the call comes in, you can hit one button and you can answer the call. If a text message comes in, you can hit one button, it will read it to you, and you can verbally respond. But to take your eyes off the road long enough to dial 10 digits to make a phone call is something that's simply not safe to do. The same thing goes with the GPS. If you need to program your GPS, you need to pull to the side of the road, find a safe spot, and program your GPS that way. Most of the modern GPSs have safety devices built in that they won't even allow you to program them if they're moving unless you put in a code or indicate that you're the passenger in the vehicle. And the fines for this can get pretty severe. They start off at between $200 and $400 for your first offense, and multiple offenses can actually lead to points on your motor vehicle license. So even from the first ticket, it can be very expensive, and let alone the fact that it could actually lead to a motor vehicle accident. So remember, if you're driving with a device, make sure that you're not accessing the device, you're keeping your eyes on the road, that you're not trying to dial while you're driving. And the other things that are included in the distracted driving law can be things like if you were grooming, if you were putting makeup on, if you were trying to light a cigarette, things like that are all things that can lead to accidents, and we're trying to keep everybody safe on the road. One other reminder before we go. There are 2 times when people are allowed to make cell phone calls while they're driving. If you're in absolute fear for your safety, if you feel somebody's following you or you have some reason to believe that you're not safe, that is an exemption from the distracted driving law. Another thing would be to report a major incident, accident, fire. That would be another exemption from the law. So outside of those 2 things, you need to make sure that you're using your device in a hands-free manner. But if you run into one of those situations, that's when it's acceptable for you to use your phone for the amount of time necessary to report what you need to report. Thanks again.
Always have to thank the men and women in blue. They do a great job in this town protecting us. In fact, quick story, I had a tree fall by my yard over the road the other night. 2 in the morning, they came out and they had it cleared out by 3 in the morning. And they came out, and the police officer that responded was terrific, but no surprise there. Chief Randy Mills and the guys do a great job. As that'll wrap up this edition of Greetings from Vernon. Coming up, not in Vernon, but everyone goes, it's the county fair, the New Jersey State Fair at the New Jersey Farm and Horse Show over in Augusta. We'll have a Miss Vernon competing in the Queen of the Fair. A lot of things coming up in August. The PAL has their junior cadet program, which is very popular, and people getting ready to get back to school. And if you're going to do your back to school shopping, make sure you stay in Vernon. There's plenty of places you can do that. You don't have to leave the confines of this town to find what you need. It's a great place, and please take advantage of that as we get ready to head back to school. So we'll wrap it up from Trax Deli here on Vernon Crossing Road. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you again soon on Greetings from Vernon. I'm your host, Dan Cleary. Good night, everyone. United Water is now Suez, safe, clean water for the communities they serve. United Water is now Suez, safe, clean water for the communities they serve.